Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of my combo fans out there. It's me, your captain speaking. And if you give me just one moment, I'm going to make sure that you and everybody that you know and care about knows that this stream is happening right now. I'll be right back. Hello, everybody. It is another Thursday night vintage stream. So we are going to be playing the coolest broken deck in Magic the Gathering's history. Pedriades, it is me, the captain, streaming your entertainment for the evening. And I'm going to be playing Dredge. We're going to be using Bazaar of Baghdad to bring back all kinds of busted stuff, and I'm never going to be paying mana for a single spell. That's the beauty of the deck that you see ahead in front of you. And honestly, not that I can, because unfortunately I couldn't find retro bordered Shambling Shells, Creeping Chills, or Narcomoebas, but almost the entire deck can be retro framed. We are playing the oldest format, and we're going to go with the old border, at least as much as we can. I think that it's going to be fun. And if you're playing in paper and you are one of the lucky 24 people to own one of the mental missteps from Eternal Weekend last year, you can actually have either a completely old, actually, Noxious Revival and Serum Powder and Sickening Shoal are the cards that, and Silversmote Ghoul are the cards you can't retro frame. Unfortunate, but that's what it is. We're going to jump right into getting into a league. These are vintage leagues, and even though we are attesting for Eternal Weekend, these are probably going to take a little bit of time, right? So let's just run in, get queued up for a league, and then let's take a look about talking about this deck list. Never mind. We are queued into round one immediately for a vintage league, which is incredible. Now I'm going to pop out my graveyard, and it's going to be on the right here. This is going to be the most available way that I can convey what's happening on the battlefield and in the graveyard for a stream, for content creation. I think that this is going to probably give you the best idea of what's going on. So when we are making our mulligan decisions, there's really just one question that we need to ask ourselves. Does this hand have Bazaar of Baghdad in it? Yes or no? And if it doesn't, I mulligan. It's as simple as that. And we have Serum Powder to aid in our ability to get Bazaars of Baghdad. And our opponent is doing the exact same, right? They just exiled all of the cards in their hand to get to a Serum Powder. We are playing the mirror straight up. And we are going to take another mulligan. We are mulliganing down quite aggressively, as is our opponent. So let's just see what... Well, we're going to mulligan this. How far we have to go. We are going to powder this. And with powder, and since we've mulliganed twice, we do get to keep 2 of these cards. And in the mirror, I think I want to go wide and fast. So I think I want Ichorid and... probably the Narcomoeba, but the Silversmote Ghoul is a close one. I think it's going to be the Narcomoeba. And we're going to powder this, and we're going to powder this one as well. And we're going to mulligan this one. This is aggressive. My goodness. The Moxfield link for this deck doesn't work in the description. Oh my gosh, Benders, thank you for letting me know about that. I will make sure that that gets fixed right now. Okay, so we're going to keep this. We have 4 cards, and we're going to put back Shambling Shell, Golgari Thug, and Golgari Thug. We have our best Dredger, the restricted Golgari Grave Troll, and a Stinkweed Imp along with a Prized Amalgam. Okay. Our opponent is going to take their turn, in which case their graveyard is going to be here. Although if I need to pop it out, I'm going to make sure that it's popped out here so that we can see what they're doing as well. So we're just going to do some graveyard shuffling back and forth. And they've binned 2 Narcomoebas. That is definitely not what they wanted to do. That Stinkweed Up is good, but having 2 Narcomoebas down is good for us. All right. So let's activate this Bazaar, and I'm going to discard Troll, Imp, and Ichorid. So I'm not going to be griefing them. I don't think that that is a reasonable use of my time. So I'm just going to put the most powerful cards into my graveyard, and we're just going to see who comes out on top. This is going to be an interesting mirror for sure. I will get that deck link done at the end of this round. Josh, you hate how much you have to mulligan. That's true. With the London mulligan and Serum Powder, you are very likely some ridiculous 90+% amount of time able to find a Bazaar of Baghdad. So that's just fine. Bender's Collections misses reanimating Sun's Titan to put back a Bazaar from the grave and keep going. Well, that's pretty fun. Yeah. So, I'm sorry. I kept talking and not clicking through. My opponent is probably upset with me. So they have their last 2 Narcomoebas in play, and they were able to cast a hollow one. 2 Bazaars is the real cincher here. That one's incredible. That might get them back into the game. That's going to be tough for us to come back with. The bottom right ticker says I'm in a legacy league. Oh, it does. Yeah, it says so right here. Okay, I can fix that as well. Oh, that one's going to be harder to fix. Because the proportions are just right for that. I'm going to leave that for now, and I'm going to try to fix everything in the interim between rounds 1 and 2. So I'll get that deck list up, and let's see, and try to fix that ticker. Okay, so in response to this Ichorid trigger, in our upkeep. I don't have any black creatures that I want to exile, so I'm going to activate Bazaar of Baghdad here, and I'm going to replace the draw 2, discard 3 ability with a Dredge 6, milling 6 cards, hit a Narcomoeba, that's good. Another Bazaar of Baghdad goes, and a Stinkweed Imp. And I am going to put back, since this Ichorid is going to come back, I want this Prized Amalgam to see that. So I'm going to discard Prized Amalgam, Grave Troll, and the Stinkweed Imp. And a couple of triggers go on the stack now that that has resolved. The Narcomoeba and the Creeping Chill. So I'm going to yield to the Narcomoeba and Creeping Chill. I am going to... So Creeping Chill, whenever it's put into the graveyard from my library, I can exile it and Lightning Helix my opponent, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So I am going to use Creeping Chill's ability, and then the Narcomoeba, I am also going to bring back that Prized Amalgam. And then we're going to take our draw step, and we're going to dredge that Grave Troll. So Ichorid can get a Grief. We have 3 Ichorids. That's amazing. So I'm going to exile a Grief and dredge a Grave Troll. And we hit not a lot. Another Silversmote Ghoul, though. So that's good. Now, unfortunately, we don't have Bridge from Belows, so they can just... block this hollow one and not think anything of it for now, which is exactly what they do. Of course, I am attacking just because that is free to do at this point. I could have waited on that, but I don't think that that was reasonable. Okay, so always yield. They have another Prized Amalgam that enters the play. I think with the double Bazaar, we are going to find ourselves wanting. Gustav, how does MTGO work these days with cards? Everything free or costly bundles? So I use a rental account with Card Hoarder, and Card Hoarder is an amazing way to rent cards. Or you can purchase them directly. That's how MTGO works. So Creeping Chills, they hit 2 Creeping Chills, and they have no... Oh, my cat is exploring the space right now. Okay, they don't have any... Silversmote Ghouls, which is the list that we're on. We run these Silversmote Ghouls that come back if we've gained 3 or more life this turn, which, of course, with our Creeping Chills makes this really easy. But our opponent is on the Cabal Therapy list, and they are playing Bridge from Belows, and that's really good. There's one of them now. That's really good in the mirror. Unfortunately, we're not as set up for the mirror. We are more set up... Oh, here's the other bridge. I should have known that because of their powders. We are not as set up for the mirror as I would like to be. I believe that we've lost this, but just in case we have an incredible run off of the top, I will continue going. They only have 6 cards left in the deck. So 3 cards left in the deck. All 4 Creeping Chills are gone. We might be able to swing this. I'm not sure, but we're going to make an attempt. So what I'm going to do is the Ichorids are going to come back all the time. Can I actually win here? If I block this, this is 9, 10, 11. Nope, we are dead for Xaxes. Uh-oh. Okay. And the Bridge from Belows we're going to trigger anyway. Alrighty then. So in the sideboard, we have a bunch of 4-ofs, right? Force of Vigor and Leyline of the Void come in as a set against a Bazaar of Baghdad deck. The Leylines to stop theirs, and the Force of Vigors to stop their opposing Leylines. and then the strip mines and wastelands to deal with the bazaars as well. And we're going to get rid of Force of Negation and Force of Will and Grief. This is going to be our sideboard plan, 10 in, 10 out. Joshua, this is the first game of Vintage you've seen in a hot minute. Yeah, not a lot of people watch Vintage, but Eternal Weekend is coming up, and we've got to do some testing. I am excited to potentially play in Eternal Weekend, the Vintage event, and I'm just going to get some testing done. And Dredge, while easy to get into, is not simple to master, especially in the mirror. So that's kind of where we're going to start. Richard LeMay, brain hurts to try to figure out mulligans plus powders. Please explain the ordering. Yes. Okay. So if you have a serum powder in your hand, it reads anytime you could mulligan and serum powder is in your hand, you can exile all of the cards and draw that many cards instead. You can do this in addition to taking mulligans. So the idea is that if you have a 7 and you powder it, you exile those 7 cards. They just go away in your exile zone and you draw that many cards. All right. You have not mulliganed yet. That counts as 0 mulligans so far. So if you were to keep your new 7, I'm going to submit my deck in just a second. I know the clock is ticking down. So if you keep your 7, you don't have to put any down because you have powdered your hand instead of mulliganing. If you're powdering and you've mulliganed once before, say we took a 7, yeah, we mulliganed it. We took another, and it's a London mulligan, so we see 7 cards, right? And there's a powder there. We can powder it and draw 7 more cards. If we like that, we've mulliganed once, the original mulligan, and we put 1 back. So we have 6 cards, and we've used a mulligan and a powder, and we have 6 cards. Does that make sense? And you just keep going down the line. You can powder multiple, like if I powder a 6, and I powder a 6, and I powder a 6, and then I keep, those don't count as additional mulligans. Those are instead of a mulligan, I can exile and draw that many cards. So, oh my gosh, I didn't do it. Just kept talking. I thought I hit, okay. I'm sure you are all yelling at your screen right now. I apologize. That's my bad. That is totally my fault. We're going to try to do this the old-fashioned way. Okay. Bazaar in our hand. We're going to keep it. That was a little too painful. And I got in my head about figuring out London mulligans and serum powder mulligans and all of these things and just... Oh, well. So, Richard, I hope that helps you understand how serum powder works for mulligans at the cost of our sideboarding plan. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I thought I recognized this. Our opponent is Greg and Rouge. I'll talk to you in just a second about that. Our opponent is Greg Sorrentino. He's an Italian that lives in London. He's a bartender. He used to work for the Epic Storm. He used to write an article series for us, and then he got really big into bartending and all of these things. He just landed in Vegas for our event in Vegas, whatever it actually is. Sorrente, excuse me, not Sorrentino, Sorrente. And Rouge, I'm drinking a knockoff Negroni. Instead of Campari, I have a different Amaro in there. So we are waiting to see what they're doing with their mulligans. They've powdered one, and we are going to be keeping ours and then see what happens after that. Force is not the worst. We don't have a dredger, but we'll figure out what we can do. Okay, they've powdered another 7. So they've lost a Creeping Chill, a Golgari Grave Troll. Wait, they powdered a Bazaar. Why did they do that? Wait a second. Oh, well, I guess they can powder waiting to find something like a Leyline of the Void, because I didn't sideboard, so I would just be dead for that. I guess it's a reasonable, cheeky way to go about this, because we're chatting here. We're having a nice little chat. And we're seeing what happens. Okay, we're going to keep this. I'm going to put the powder on the bottom, and we're going to be done. And they're going to open up on a ley line, and I have to Bazaar here and hit a hollow one. Otherwise, I have 0 chance. Well, doesn't look like I have much of a chance. Okay, so we're going to grief them. I really need to find a hollow one. That is the way that we win this game. Otherwise, I don't know. They have a hollow one. I'm going to take it, I suppose. Force of Vigor. Force of Vigor kills a hollow one. Noxious Revival buys back the Force of Vigor. I don't know. Do they have more green cards or Force of Vigors? They probably have more green cards. Doesn't really matter. Okay, that's fine. Take the Force of Vigor, because I am playing to a hollow one right now. It is the mirror, Gustav. It is. And thanks, Rouge. I appreciate your help. Okay. Well, we didn't find it, but another Bazaar is interesting. I don't think that's going to help us out, so I'm just going to keep going. I'm pretty sure I'm close to conceding, actually. They're not drawing Bazaars, but I'm not drawing hollow ones. There's one. Okay, there's a hollow one, and I'm going to bin. I'm going to keep interaction. Noxious Revival is interaction at the very least. Like if they find a dredger, they like move to discard or something like that, I can Noxious Revival it back to the deck and buy myself a turn, essentially. Okay. So unfortunately, I have to Noxious Revival here, so I'm not going to activate Bazaar. But I am going to go to their upkeep because reasons. Okay. Put that Stinkweed Imp back, and that was my interaction against their deck. We did find hollow ones that we needed. We actually found 2. So we can do this now and bop, bop, bop. Cast a hollow one, and whoa, 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 whoa! I clicked it, and it's gone. Okay. You all saw that move up, right? Maybe I double clicked it. I don't think I did. This has been a mess, but that's okay. They are on a 2-turn clock, and they missed everything. So It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. Taking this very slowly. Okay. Goodness me. Okay, they're dead next turn. I don't know how we did it. We managed to hold off for a little bit. Oh my gosh. Okay. Double hollow one. Okay, so let's get back to this. 10 here, and then here is, I guess the Chalice of the Void is also something that we don't actually need for our opponents. We can bring in a Sickening Shoal, or we can keep a Grief. That doesn't seem good. Yeah, let's keep a Grief. Let's keep a Grief because that could strip a Force of Vigor. Yeah. So sideboarding actually this time. What a concept. I'm so surprised we won that. Okay, we're going to powder this. Keep the graveyards open. They've powdered. They're down a Force of Vigor and a Creeping Chill. And a couple of Dredgers. And we are going to be down a couple of Dredgers, Hollow One, and Amalgam. That's fine. As soon as we are allowed to actually take a mulligan decisions. All right. Wow. I mean, honestly, finding 2 hollow ones in the top X cards of our library, that was pretty exciting. So we're going to powder this one, and we have to mulligan this one. They have kept 7 cards. Okay, I have to mulligan this. I have to mulligan this. I have to mulligan this. I'm going to powder this. But since we have mulliganed so many times, we are going to put that many cards back. So I'm putting 3 cards back. It's going to be Force of Vigor, Shambling Shell, and Stinkweed Imp. We're going to be done. This is not good. Okay, we're going to keep this. So we're going to put 4 cards back. Creeping Chill, Noxious hold up. Creeping Chill, Strip Mine. It could be Stinkweed Imp, Hollow One. Expecting them to have a Leyline of the Void, and then this Bazaar can just take over from there. Or we could say, you know what, I'm going to die to a Leyline, and I have Hollow One and Stinkweed Imp, and I can mulligan from Creeping Chill, Noxious Revival, Force of Vigor, and Strip Mine. So I have creature to beat down, even if they have a Leyline, and then the Stinkweed Imp, if they don't have the Leyline, kind of cleans things up. I think I like this way better. This plays to a win rather than playing to having to, and it even hedges a little bit against Leyline. Yeah, I like this better. And they don't have a Leyline. Love that for us. Okay. So we have a Hollow One, and we're going to fill our graveyard with a bunch of really awesome, amazing things. Well, mostly awesome and amazing things. Another Bazaar would be great here. Nope, couldn't be. Couldn't be us. Okay. Well, we are going to cast this Hollow One, and that's going to be it. They have an Ichorid trigger, and they're going to activate the Bazaar. And they have Creeping Chill, Narcomoeba, and a Bridge from Below. Wow, that's 3 Ichorids in the graveyard. That's not looking good for the home team. But we can't really do much about that. So one Ichorid will trigger. They can attack wantonly, and I'll block it with my hollow one, and then their bridge from below will trigger, and they are set up for the mirror for sure. They continue to dredge their Golgari Grave Troll, and they hit 2 Creeping Chills. Yeah, okay, so we're at 11 already. I have a Dredge 5, so I can see what we can do. So they have a 2/2 now. Bridge from below is so good in the mirror. And they can Noxious Revival our Stinkweed Imp. Yep, okay. So upkeep, I'm going to bridge or Bazaar, and I'm going to dredge Stinkweed Imp in my draw step. I'm not going to trigger the Ichorid and dredge the Stinkweed Imp. Okay, so we get a Creeping Chill, and that's it. Okay. I have to block Ichorids. I don't think that this is going well for me. To be honest, I don't actually really even deserve this game, but we have it, and I'm making the most of it. There's just not a lot to be made of it. And they found the second bridge from below, and all 3 of these Ichorids are going to come back, swing for 9. I'm going to take 6, and then they're going to make 6 more 2/2 zombies from it, at least. Things aren't looking good. So what else do they have here? Nothing. Okay, so I'm going to take, 9. I'm going to fall to 5. Can't really do anything about this. And I can't, my creature doesn't even die. So that I exile their bridges because I have a giant 4/4. Yeah, that's so much. Okay, the zombies are really good. The zombies are really good in the mirror. Oh, I clicked one too many times. Okay. And another Stinkweed Imp. Oh, I meant to put this out. Putting back 3 imps. We have a Narcomoeba. And we dredge another Stinkweed Imp. And we are deceased. Okay. One second. I am messaging my friend. All right, we are going to be deceased. That was handling, and all of this pretty much at the hands of Bridge from Below. That just ability to turn your creatures dying into a zombie army is incredibly persuasive in the mirror. Okay, now I'm going to take a second and put, let's see, put this into the appropriate deck list link. We've got let's see, October. And okay, video decks. Hold up, I'm moving these around at the moment. 2024, and it's October. Oh, I moved it to the wrong October. That's unfortunate. Okay. Is this the right October now? It is the right October. Okay. The red October. Good movie. And then I can copy this URL and make sure that it is appropriately linked. Okay, so that should be up to date. You can refresh your page if you want to find the deck list. That should all be good to go. And we're going to join another league. Alrighty then. We have all got that taken care of. And in the meantime, I could mess with a little like legacy. I'm not sure. So I'm going to just pop out our deck list actually instead, and we're going to talk about this. There are a bunch of different options to build Dredge. And especially in Vintage, it comes down to small little tweaks because this deck list is incredibly tight. The options are essentially, you can have a 3 of Silversmote Ghoul package, or you can swap these ghouls out. And wow, we are queued up already. This is incredible. And we won the die roll. Wow. All right. This is vintage magic around Eternal Weekend. We are queuing up quickly and we are able to make decisions based on our mulligans very quickly because it doesn't have a Bazaar of Baghdad. How simple. And we're going to take another mulligan and another one. And we're going to powder this one. So we've taken 3 mulligans. So we can put 3 cards back. And it's going to be Shambling Shell, Hollow One, Noxious Revival. And mulligan this one. And mulligan this one. And mulligan this one. Well, I'm going to keep this. We're at 1 card. I'm going to keep this and I'm going to... This was awful. I'm going to keep a Thug. All right then. That's not great. We did not see a single one of the 4 of in our however many cards we saw. I don't know. Yeah, it's 1%. I think it's like 98% or 98 or 99.8, something like that, to hit a Bazaar. We're good. We're going to concede this game. It is incredibly unlikely that we miss on Bazaars, but we did. All right, so we're playing up against Shops. I like the Force of Vigors, the Strip Mines, and the Force of Negations. We are going to take out Grief and the Silversmote Ghouls, especially on the play. On the play, Grief is not terrible. You could consider keeping a couple of Griefs in and cutting a couple of Golgari Thugs. Obviously, Shambling Shell, Dredge 3 versus Golgari Thug, Dredge 4. Shambling Shell is a worse Dredger, but it is a green card, and we need as many green cards as possible to make our Force of Vigors work. I think that I'm going to keep this as it is, and I'm just going to cut the Griefs, even on the play. The other option is we could cut the Forces, and and keep all of this in. Which I also don't hate, actually. This is a lot more aggressive and not a lot of protection. I think that that's actually probably fine. I mean, what spells are they going to be casting that we care about? Hey, Newton, how's it going? And O'Doyle, have I ever played Omnitel Storm? I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to let me know what deck list you're talking about. I'm going to keep this and submit. We lost game 1, and we're keeping a 7, finally. All right. The video says vintage, but the score says legacy. I know that the score says legacy. I forgot to change it before I went live, and I should probably... Okay, where is it? It's the record box. I'm going to try to make this work in a little bit. It's a pain to try to make work, and I didn't have time because we're queuing into people at a reasonable rate, which is just straight up shocking. All right, so I'm not going to wait to Bazaar because we have Griefs in our deck, which is incredible and amazing, and we didn't hit one. In a small sentence, the deck will show and tell Omniscience, Grizzlebrand Atraxa, draw 14, play a bunch of spells, cast Tendrils. All right, neat. I haven't played that. I do think that it is an interesting way to go about winning because Omniscience, if you put Omniscience into play, you can usually win the game in a more deterministic way than Storm. So the Storm package needs to be offering something more than just like an alternative route to victory. But I don't know what that would be. Okay, well, Vexing Bauble and Sphere of Resistance are essentially the same thing, but I had the Mental Misstep for the Vexing Bauble, and I don't have the Force of Will for the Sphere of Resistance, and that's fine. I'm not casting any spells anymore. In response to the Ichorid trigger, I will activate and Dredge 6, and then Dredge 5. We hit 2 Creeping Chill and 3 Narcomoeba. My goodness. Okay, so I'm going to put back the Silversmote Ghoul, the Golgari Grave Troll, and the Stinkweed Imp. Goodness me, that's a lot of triggers, and learning how to deal with all of this in paper is the real trick. So Narcomoeba, 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 Creeping Chill, Creeping Chill, and then, do I have something to eat? Yeah, I have a Thug. That's fine. And then I will Dredge a Troll again. There's 6. I hit not much of anything. That's all right. 6 power on turn 2 and attack for 3. All right, so they are at 11, which is already amazing for me. And Silversmote Ghoul comes back. I have 9 power next turn. And if I hit one of my other Creeping Chills, then they are, in fact, deceased. And I have a lot of dredges to do that. I can dredge 16, so I can dredge half of my deck, essentially. I have 34 cards left. Hey, Joe, we're playing Legacy, or my goodness, I've said this twice now. We're playing Vintage now. We're not playing Legacy. That's what I meant to say. We're not playing Legacy. Welcome to Vintage. I'm glad you're here. That's tough. Okay. Grizzle Monster and Shieldred, draw your deck, finish with Jason Wielder, Thassa's Oracle, how you Omni win his flavor. Trick is making it so the cards have function normally. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well, they have 2 ways to disrupt my Bazaar of Baghdad, but luckily I have enough dredgers in my yard to make that a moot point. So let's dredge 5 here. Okay. Well, they were done with it. I didn't even get to see what we were going to be dredging, but that's all right. All right, now to do this on the draw. On the draw, grief gets worse, and because of that, I might want the blue cards to be more disruptive on turn 0. I like that. Yep. You play it in Timeless, and Dig Through Time is legal. The deck is busted in Timeless. I mean, yeah, Dig Through Time is kind of a busted Magic the Gathering card, so that makes sense to me. These are our exiles, just in case I powder something. So far, mulligans. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put a Prized Amalgam there. Stacks in Vintage. Yeah, I mean, it's not a particularly powerful strategy right now, or popular strategy right now, but it certainly exists still. I mean, Vexing Bauble is now restricted, so even if it's a non-bow with your spheres, it's probably right to keep playing. But yeah, Sphere of Resistance. There we go. Okay. Well, my Chalice is no longer a thing, but that's fine. Neither is this Force of Vigor. Wow, I even have an actual Force of Vigor for all this, but doesn't matter. Okay. Prized Amalgam. Force of Negation. Shambling Shell. I'm not going to be... Yeah, this sphere is never leaving play. So... Yep. I can't do anything with these hollow ones now. Spells cost 1 more to cast, so I can't even... Oh, hold up. Oh, wait. Yeah. That's right. I can play hollow ones. Yeah. Okay. Rouge, we realized this at the same time because this spell costs 2 less to cast for each spell we've cycled, and it's a 5-drop, which means that discarding 3 cards means that it's reduced by 6, and Sphere of Resistance makes it cost 6. That was incredible. I loved that. I would never have made that connection until that moment, but that's really exciting. I can play around Sphere of Resistance and cast things from... Wow, that's fun. Hey, Marco, how are you doing? Welcome. Yeah, that was an interesting match. All right, we are 1-1. We have taken it to 3 games both times, and we're going to try to keep doing that. But before I do this, I really have to try to make this say Vintage. 1 second. We're doing it live. Vintage League. Yeah, now everything's a little bit wonky. That's fine. And that looks good enough. Okay. It says Vintage League. All this hate to lose to Oko. Yeah. All right. Well, it says Vintage League. We're playing a Vintage League. That was a lot easier than I expected it to be. Maybe a list you could play in Legacy. Wait, which list? I don't know. Yeah, B1, absolutely. We're going to do it live. What newscast was that where that actually happened? That's where the line comes from. I don't know. And my goodness, look at this. We are in round 3, and we have waited less time for these rounds than any Legacy event we have played so far. I'm loving it. Bill O'Reilly, that's what it was. Thank you very much. Yes, his first show. Thank you very much for that. I was like, I'm trying to remember. Okay, Absorbent 3 is a very well-known vintage Magic the Gathering player. I think that they're a Doomsday player. I could be wrong. I don't know. But we lost the die roll. Green-red guy. Red-green guy. Yeah. I can't tell if you're talking about Bill O'Reilly or my opponent is known for playing Gruul. It's a funny overlap of experiences right now where you could be talking about the Canadian show versus our opponent. I don't know. Absorbent 3 is Ren 6, Minsk and Boo. Okay, interesting. Cool. Well, I'm going to powder this full of wonderful, lovely cards. And we're going to keep this one because it has a Bazaar of Baghdad in it and a Grief, actually. That's kind of fun. So we're obviously on the draw where this Grief is a lot worse. But against a deck that has Wasteland, this Noxious Revival is pretty excellent. So Malevolent Rumble. Okay. Yeah. So just what do we have here? Pyroblast, Minsk, Insidious Fungus. Goodness me. Okay. And another Minsk and Boo. Okay. They all go to the graveyard. That's fine by me. Those are a lot of good cards that go to the graveyard. And they have ramped using a Simian Spirit Guide. Goodness. All right, so let's activate this Bazaar. If I find another Grief, I would rather pitch that. Okay, so Stinkweed Imp, Golgari Thug, Ichorid are my discards, and then I exile the Silversmote Ghoul to Grief and Grief them. And I have Noxious Revival for a Wasteland. And let's see. Blood Moon. That's pretty tough. All right. I don't care about anything. This Insidious Fungus. Yeah, I don't care about anything but this Blood Moon. So we're going to put this Blood Moon into the graveyard. Wow. All right. And I think we're set up for a really excellent game one. Bender's Collections. Isn't the Red Green show amazing? I miss it. I used to watch it a lot. Really fostered a love of duct tape that I never really knew existed. Doyle, yeah, I saw that. Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize, Brainstorm, Ponder, Show and Tell, Impulse, Grizzlebrand, Omniscience, Atraxa, One with the Multiverse, Lotus Petal, Grim Tutor, 2 Tendrils. All right. I mean, that's really clean. That is quite a clean list. I kind of like it. So there's an Insidious Fungus. Okay, now the nice thing about this Noxious Revival that we have in our hand is if during this initial dredge, I dredge over a Bazaar of Baghdad, I can put a Bazaar into my hand. So this is a Stinkweed Imp and a Golgari Thug. And we're going to discard Thug, Imp, and Serum Powder, I guess. 3 Creeping Chills. My goodness. Wow. Okay. And we have a Grief to exile, which will trigger 2 Amalgams. This is going really, really well. And we have a Bazaar. So we're going to Noxious this Bazaar back. Yes, Newton, absolutely. So we're going to take a normal draw, which is going to give us another Bazaar and a lot more dredges. This is pod racing. And then we have another Thug. Okay, Thug, Imp, Force of Will. And we get to attack for 3, either remove one of their creatures or put them to 8. Okay. Yep. Remove a fungus. They're at 11, and we have, let's see, so we did mill over Silversmote Ghoul after the Creeping Chills, but Silversmote Ghoul checks in our end step, and then it looks at all of the things that happened in our turn previously, not what it saw in the graveyard. So this Silversmote Ghoul was not in our graveyard when the Creeping Chills went on the stack. That happened afterwards, but it still comes back. And then the 2 Prized Amalgams as well. So that worked out really well. Okay, let's see. I want Strip Mines, Force of Will, or Force of Vigors, and restricted. Oh, no. Bazaar should not be restricted. Too many things rely on having 4 Bazaar of Baghdad's that are, we're going to say it and everybody's going to get upset about it, but pillars of the vintage format, like Dredge, like Squeevine, like Hollowvine, or Hogak Vine, excuse me. That I think that's just not reasonable anymore. I could be wrong. Okay. Chalice. I don't know. I'll keep Chalice in. 1 Silversmote Ghoul isn't going to make a break, but a Chalice might. Like if they have a Tormod's Crypt or something like that, right? I think that I like this. I don't actually know. Andre Sousa, do I play Pauper? I do not play Pauper. I did back when the Inside Out deck was a legal deck. Well, not legal, but like the Gush banning really nerfed Inside Out. And so I kind of just stopped playing Pauper after that. Not super excited with the format, but I guess I could try Cycle Storm. It seems to be a good one. It's just not quite what I want in a Pauper deck. All right, we're gonna we're gonna powder this one. And powder this one. And keep this double Bazaar hand. Alrighty. Love that for us. And they don't have a Leyline of the Void, which is great because I don't have a Force of Vigor. And what do we got? Springheart and Antuco. Okay. Force of Vigor. Enchantment creature artifact. I don't know. I might do that. So this is going to be Imp, Thug, Ichorid. I think that I'm going to wait on this. Should I wait? I don't know. They have 3 cards in hand. They obviously have something against Dredge. Otherwise, they wouldn't have kept this. It might be something like a... what's the trap? Ravenous Trap. But I don't know. It might be a 2-drop that they chose not to cast. I don't know. That may not make sense. We've seen Blood Moon, though. It could be a Blood Moon. A Tarmogoyf. Okay. Interesting. I don't know what to make of this. They don't have Wasteland. They don't have Blood Moon. They don't have Leyline. I'm at a loss as to what this could be. They could just be going wider than me. That's also very reasonable. I'm not sure. I'm going to do this now. They didn't cast a Blood Moon or anything like that, so I think that it's fine. But we're going to dredge in response to the Ichorids. Ooh, we found a grave troll. That's exciting for us. Troll, imp, and a shambling shell. Green sun for the oof card. I don't remember what it's called, but yes, that could be a thing. So prized amalgam triggers off of the Narcomoeba, creeping chill, and the Ichorid is going to eat a shambling shell. I've got plenty of dredgers. This Tarmogoyf is a 5/6. I will dredge Golgari Grave Troll, get another creeping chill, and then I have another Bazaar. And we're just going to go now. Imp and Imp. Ichorid, Troll, Imp. And the Narcomoeba. So I have 3 prized amalgams that are coming back this turn. The only reason to play green is for oof, right? Probably. So are you talking about collector oof? Because collector oof doesn't stop it. I think that there's a graveyard hate card that also has the name oof, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. I didn't attack with the Ichorid. Absorbent 3 is good enough to know how to block with a Tarmogoyf. I wasn't. I guess I could have been bluffing a Sickening Shoal, but that's fine. Okay, so I have 9 cards and 4 Ichorids. So we're going to exile a shell, exile an imp, Stinkweed Imp, exile Stinkweed Imp. I'm not dredging that much anymore. I'm going to be taking natural draws for most of this. But I will dredge, say, 4 right now. Okay. Let's see what this means. We have all 4 Ichorids, which is pretty exciting. I'm going to pop the graveyard back down because I'm not going to be dredging anymore. Oh, wow. Pyrokinesis, exiling Inti. What is this? Okay, this is a cube deck. Okay. Let's see. Absorbent 3 knows what they're doing. Obviously, they're on a fringe vintage deck, but they've been playing vintage for much, much longer than I have. I don't even know if they want to wasteland me. Yeah, the mana is probably more valuable for them than it is for me. Okay, let's take a look at this. I have 1, 2, 3. I have another creeping chill somewhere. All right, let's pop this out now. So I have 1, 2. Okay, so I'm not going to get back all of the Ichorids. So 1 Ichorid can eat another Ichorid. One Ichorid can eat a Thug. And then one Ichorid can eat a Prized Amalgam. And then that Ichorid doesn't trigger. Okay. And then I get to Dredge 4. They go to 9. I assume that I'll hit the Creeping Chill. And then they block. They take 9. Okay, sure. Cool. Creeping Chill was not the bottom of my library. And as long as they don't have another... cool. Yeah. Neat. As long as they didn't have another Pyrokinesis. Oh, they have 0 cards in their hand. Never mind. Okay. Yeah. We got there. Interesting. I don't know. That was kind of fun. We just had to know that there was a 4th Creeping Chill and Dredge appropriately, without killing ourselves. So yeah, that was kind of fun. We were 2-1. And let's see, we have Vintage. It says Vintage here. The link is done. I think we're all updated. We are ready to go. Yeah. So this deck is... So we were talking about other options for this deck. Obviously, the Silversmote Ghouls are a flex spot here. The flex spots include... Silversmote Ghouls, some amount of Golgari Thugs, and we can swap those out for, say, a couple of Bridge from Belows and Cabal Therapies. We can have 2 Bridge from Belows, 1 Cabal Therapy, another Force of Negation. Our sideboard can change accordingly, like this Force of Negation could be another Wasteland. It all depends on what you expect out of the metagame. We can talk about that after round 4. And these games are really fast. Yes, absolutely. It's only 8 o'clock. Well, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. And we won the die roll here. We are doing great. We are doing great for winning die rolls and being paired quickly. Wow. Yeah, this is going to be great. We're going to keep this one, bottom the Serum Powder, and we're going to start off with 2 hollow ones, and we have Noxious Revival as, nope, not that. Shambling Shell, Golgari Thug, and Narcomoeba. Then we have 2 pieces of interaction if we need it in Noxious Revival, which serves as like a counter to Wasteland, and then Mental Misstep. So I'm really liking our choices here. I say choices. We didn't really make many choices this game. But that's fine. Mishra's Workshop. What do we got going on? A Grim Monolith. So this is likely going to be the coveted Jewel deck. This is Jewel Shops. Okay, so the One Ring is a little bit of a fog, and I'm going to take a natural draw here. One of the greatest ways to beat Jewel Shops is with Creeping Chills, but if we mill over Creeping Chills right now, they have protection and can't be chilled. So we're going to take a natural draw here, which is a little bit weird, and we can mill in their end step or something like that. Or, well, at the end of their second main phase, because if I hit Narcomoebas and I can discard this Prized Amalgam, I want it back. So at the end of their second main phase, we can do that. Yes, we can also time walk here. I've done that several times. Just like, oh, you want a fetch land? You don't, but here's a fetch land for you. I also can like put back Creeping Chills or Narcomoebas and things like that, which can also be very useful. So I actually might do that so that I guarantee this Prized Amalgam so that I have the quickest clock possible. They have double Mishra's Workshop. Do they have a coveted jewel? No, they have another One Ring. Okay. That's fine. In that case, I'm going to just hold everything. I'm not worried about... I'm just going to take natural draws. They're fogging us. Adding in a Prized Amalgam and a Narcomoeba onto the battlefield is not useful right now. So until they... Ooh, another Noxious Revival. Okay. So until they don't have the One Ring protection, I'm just going to kind of hold. I'm in a holding pattern until I can explode onto the battlefield. Yeah. Okay. So they have some cards. Ruby. They have 9 cards. They have a Karn or Phyrexian Metamorph. Well, I'm going to do this now, I suppose. Let's take this Noxious Revival, put this Narcomoeba back. Or do I care about that? Do I care about hitting chills right now? More than I do this Narcomoeba. Yes. So I'm just going to take draws now. I guess I should have waited for them to actually copy the One Ring. But that's fine. So this Prized Amalgam, the Thug, and the Stinkweed Imp. We know what they're going to be targeting. They're going to be making another One Ring and protecting themselves. Yep. Shocking. 7 cards. They don't have anything yet. Sensei's top. Yeah, I'm going to counter this. There's not very many other targets for this mental misstep. The only other thing that I could think of is a Vexing Bauble that's not mana. And they have plenty of mana. I'm not worried about them having mana. I'm worried about them being able to find things that they care about, which is obviously something that they're struggling with right now. Now, I could... okay, so I'm not going to do anything with this Ichorid trigger. I could do a bunch of things. I could Noxious Revival a Grief back into my hand, although that's not good because I don't have another black card until the following turn, so I could Grief them in a turn from now. But they don't have anything in hand, otherwise they would have cast it. I could Noxious Revival a Mental Misstep back into my hand, but that doesn't seem particularly useful. They don't have a lot of 1-drops. I'm just going to take a draw. And it's a Creeping Chill. That's unfortunate, but it's part of the risk we take. They do have the One Ring protection, so no use in attacking. So even with this Creeping Chill in my hand, what I can do is Bazaar, discard it, Noxious Revival it back into my library, and then go again. Okay. They're drawing a lot of cards. They have 11 cards in hand. Surely they have something now. I think that we are on borrowed time for sure. But I think that we've been playing this as optimally as we can. It's just not much we can do here. They've played an Ancient Tomb. A win condition. I mean, the One Ring is our win condition at this point. Do they finally... Oh, speaking of the One Ring, goodness. So I'm going to Bazaar here. Dredging an Imp and a Thug. And I will put back Stinkweed Imp, Thug, and Creeping Chill. I will use Narcomoeba's ability. Yeah, they'll cast a bunch of rings. They only have so many, but yeah, they don't really need to do much more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a natural draw, and then I can Noxious Revival the Creeping Chill back into the deck. No Ichorids. Yeah, I know. They do really have a lot of rings. So natural draws all the way around. That's pretty good. So if I need to, I can Noxious Revival a Force of Negation. And actually have interaction. They are a Force of Will deck, so I would imagine that I mean, obviously they just discarded one. They probably have as many as they need. Untapping Grim Monolith. My. Okay. So they're going to lose 4. How many Creeping Chills are gone? Not very many. So I'm going to just try to chill them right now. Or at least put this chill on top of my library. Okay, cool. Now I can chill them whenever I need to with a Bazaar activation. Okay. This is fine. Black Lotus, also fine. I mean, they have mana forever. And a Tolarian Academy. Yeah, they've got a lot of mana. Okay. They don't play Eldrazi, as far as I am aware. Their win is Karn, the Great Creator. They have Pio. I don't know. I mean, Wormcoil engines. I've got a bunch of artifacts here. Artifact mana, Vexing Bauble. Do I care about this? Not really, but can I just cast my Noxious Revival for something? I can time walk them by just putting a City of Traders on top of their library. Why not? Just in case I draw. Yeah, that's fine. Well, Noxious Revival, I can't actually cast with Vexing Bauble out. It's fine. Paradoxical Outcome. Okay, I'm going to just go now. I know that I'm hitting 1 Creeping Chill, and I might hit more. Nope. It's my first Creeping Chill of this game. Okay. I really, really wish that there were more Creeping Chills on the early top of the deck, but alas. We are going... Okay, there's the Time Vault. And do you have the ring? The Manifold Key. That'll do it. Show me a way to win really quick. I will concede. I'm sure I can just concede now. You have Karn. You also can just, like, I don't know, you can do whatever you want and win with a Vault Key combo. I want to see it. Okay, there it is. Karn. I'll concede. That's good enough for me. Yeah, I could ask what the win con is. That probably could have been a better option. Okay, so let's keep the Force of Negation and the Force of Vigors. That's all I really care about. So let's do this. Take the Griefs out. Oh, hold up. What if I take the Silversmote Ghouls out and then a couple of Golgari Thugs? That seems better. I think that I like the Griefs on the play. On the draw, I can consider taking them out to be quicker. I don't care about Sickening Shoal or Leyline of the Void. Stripmine and Wasteland are not at their best, but I could consider them for a couple of No, we'll do this. We'll do this for now. And then on the draw, I'll consider our Wasteland Strip Mine package for whatever ails us. They don't play Tabernacles. It would just be actual factual artifact removal or land removal, which is not amazing because I'll get a turn with it. A couple of turns actually, but I don't know. Maybe that's a bad idea. I've talked myself out of it. All right. Well, got to mulligan this one. And we're going to keep this one. Keep this one. Our bottom card is a Chill. All right. Good to know. This way we can keep open Force of Vigor and Force blue card. Force green card, Force blue card, and discard one of the... Okay. Little bit of a conundrum here because I want that hollow one in play. So what I could do is discard Force of Vigor, Force of Will, Mental Misstep. Or Force Noxious Force, and I'm holding up Force and Mental Misstep. Noxious Revival doesn't seem particularly good against a non-wasteland deck, and if I'm getting off Force, I can just, yeah, okay, cool. Let's hold up 2 pieces of interaction. Pitch Negation before. Well, I'm keeping one of them. I have the option, the flex here. So I think that that's fine. And I will mostly just Force of Will things that I care about because Karn can get things that are Force of Negationed. I am going to force this. Alrighty. That's good. I didn't activate Bazaar in my upkeep. I just kind of just thought, oh yeah, I need to keep this Force of this Mental Misstep up. That's just not true. I should have activated in my upkeep. I kind of tunnel visioned into keeping Mental Misstep, and that was incorrect. I could have been dredging here, but oh well. No, they shocked themselves. What are we doing here? Do you have a 1-drop? I'll counter it. Ha! Played correctly. 100% of the time. Needed that Mental Misstep. And they have the Force. Totally fine. Yeah. They have one 1-drop that I care a lot about. But they had the Force. And they didn't fight. I mean, they might not have had I don't know. They've shown me 2 blue cards. They didn't fight over the force of over the One Ring, which I find is interesting. Oh well. We'll activate on our opponent's end step for Rexian Metamorph, copying the hollow one. Yeah, sure. That's fine. I really wish I would have had another Bazaar. That's fine. So let's activate Thug and Grave Troll. Okay, that's good. Nothing. Darn. Okay, draw step, Grave Troll. I will trade this off really quick. Just easy peasy. Let's see. They have another workshop. They have a Jewel. Oh, they have a Worm Coil Engine. Ugh. Okay. I can go around that with Ichorids, but that's not easy to do. I'm 3 Force of Vigors down already. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything with the Ichorid. Oh, I might bring it back to bring the Prized Amalgams back. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I need to go around this Worm Coil Engine, which is going to be tough. Okay, there's a Stinkweedimp, and then... Okay. Creeping Chills are good. Narcomoeba comes back, which triggers the Prized Amalgam, so I don't need to exile something to this Ichorid, because the Ichorid doesn't do anything right now. Yeah, so no to that. Dredge 6 with a Grave Troll. I got a Narcomoeba again and more Prized Amalgams. Okay, so we are actually going wider here, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Ichorids. Okay, we might actually do this. Oh, I should just yield to this. Okay. So they can either attack for 6, because there's no vigilance, thankfully, on Worm Coil Engine. They can either attack for 6 or block. And I don't know. I don't know which one's better. Probably blocking. I guess it depends on what else they have in their hand. They have 4 cards, and I think we're going to win if they have nothing else. But if they have something else, then obviously it's going to be tough. The One Ring would really be problematic. PO would be annoying. Tinker is very annoying. I don't know what they tinker for. They don't play house. They play a key, and then they just actually have time. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, sure. They have time vault. Alrighty then. We almost got there. Unfortunately, their hand was stall the board and then win the turn before they died. Alrighty then. So we are 2-2. We're going to be playing for a positive record. And I don't know. So far, I'm having fun. How about you guys? Are you guys enjoying watching some vintage Legacy content or vintage Magic the Gathering content? I can't get it out of my head that I'm saying vintage for Legacy. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. Um, but I'm enjoying this. I am testing. I have Bazaar of Baghdad's available to me for vintage for Eternal Weekend. So I will be playing a Bazaar deck. Here we are for our final round. And I'm going to try to play several options for Bazaar Magic. The Squeevine, the Dredge, obviously. We're keeping this. And anything besides. This is a cracked hand. Okay, so what we get to do is... I'm going to Bazaar first, just in case that I find a different black card that I want to pitch. There is a different black card. So I'm going to pitch Grave Troll, Creeping Chill, Noxious Revival. I am going to exile the Grief, or exile the Silversmote Ghoul to the Grief. And Grief them, holding up Force of Negation. Oh, what are we doing here? I mean, I'm taking the Disruptor Flute, but what is Bronze Guardian? Number of artifacts you control. And it has double strike for a 5-drop. And you can just play it next turn. Wow. Golem Stompy, Artifact Stompy, Mono White. I don't know what this is. This might be a Force of Negation, a Black Lotus moment. Oh, I got rid of the creature. I didn't mean to get rid of the creature. They still have that creature. Deck is 10 trillion times to play, or harder to play in paper, keeping track of all the triggers. Yeah, get your reps in. Absolutely. That is something that I want to do. So I'm going to actually counter this Black Lotus. I think that that is the correct play. Mishra's Workshop. They have Crucible of Worlds. Yeah, I don't care. And since I'm going to lose it, in the end step, I'm going to Noxious the Creeping Chill back so that I get that value. And then upkeep, Bazaar, Troll, and Shambling Shell. And I get a Creeping Chill. Okay, there is an Ichorid in the graveyard. That's good to see. And a lot of treasures. Love that. And another Creeping Chill. None of these are triggering any of the 2 remaining Silversmote Ghouls, but that's fine. I don't mind about that. So I have an Imp and a Golgari Thug to dredge in my upkeep, and then Golgari Grave Troll Dredge for my draw step. They have played the Chalice of the Void. They have not played the Caracas. They did play a Soul Ring. What are we doing? That's the 5-drop that we know about. Okay, so they have a Caracas in hand. That's fine. I don't care about a Caracas in hand. And I will make this a little bit smaller so we can see what's going on the opposite side. Upkeep in response to the Ichorid. I know it has a Grief to Eat right now, but it can trigger Prized Amalgams by entering. And Thug. Okay. No. Oh, there is a Prized Amalgam. Okay, so this will eat a Grief, and it will trigger the Prized Amalgam, which is good enough. And then the Troll will be dredged. There's another Creeping Chill. Opponent's at 11. And there's 2 more Amalgams that are in here. So, yeah, well, sure. We'll make them we'll make them block. Double Strike Ward. Goodness. Okay. So We have Silversmote Ghoul and a bunch of prized amalgams that are going to come back at various stages of end steps. All right. So we have 2 prized amalgams coming back on our opponent's end step. We have some number of creeping chills gone, 3 of them gone. I thought I said yield to this. Okay. Yeah, okay. Our opponent has realized that our battlefield is a little too much to deal with. Cool. I don't know what kind of interaction to expect from my opponent. They are playing white cards. I'm going to do a real quick Untitled 177. Okay, other shops. They are a Containment Priest and a Grafdigger's Cage. Okay, so I don't need the ley lines, obviously. They do have Tabernacle, so I want these cards and Sickening Shoals because they have Containment Priests. Okay, so I can get rid of the blue cards and the Griefs. And that seems to work really well, actually. It's nice and even. Is that something that I should be concerned about? Am I missing something? They have Golos. They have Sundering Titan. Okay, yeah, that's coming out against me. Crucible. So they are a 4 Wasteland, 1 Strip Mine deck. Do they have more than that? No, but okay. So this is what I got, and this is what we're going to work with. Yeah. Okay, we're going to try this. And, oh, excellent. Okay, so I have an answer to a Containment Priest. And a Bazaar of Baghdad. I'm going to keep this. Hey, Michael, how is it going? We are playing Vintage Dredge. We're having a blast, honestly. So they can have a white mana and a turn 1 Containment Priest. Ooh, well, okay. Vexing Bubble ruins my entire life. Can't do anything about that. Containment Priest. Okay, so I can only win with... no, I can't win with anything. Yep. Let's see. I have 12 life to deal damage with the creeping chills, and that's it. So I need them to make a mistake. Lightning bolt critter, yeah. Yeah, oh, I know. I have a deck list pulled up. Yeah, I mean, they have a win condition right here. Everything that they ever want. Disruptor Flute. Oh, I F6'd through that one. Okay, I'm going to concede. That's a lot of hate. That's a lot of hate. That's fine. I can pull this deck list up, actually. So, they have Oswald Fiddlebender, then they have a bunch of artifacts. And they have the, well, this isn't exactly it, because it's not, this was early this year, but they are playing like a mono white artifact-based shops deck. So, yeah. On the play, do I want forces? Do I want griefs? I can cut a couple of thugs for a couple of griefs. Chalice of the Void seems of dubious help. So what I can do is keep a thug, and I'll bring in 2 grief. I can get rid of the Silversmote Ghouls, although I think I want to fight them in combat, and Silversmote Ghoul helps me go wider. I mean, if I do this, if I get rid of the ghouls and the griefs, I need, and the extra thug. If I do that, I can keep this amount of force fodder in, and that's not awful. I'm down on dredgers. What is this? This is 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 dredgers. That's a little low. I'm going to submit this. I think that this is fine. I think that the forces might be important here. I don't know. We're going to find out together. I mean, this is good. I don't have a dredger, but I'm going to keep this. It's highly interactive. Okay, so I can obviously activate Bazaar. The Noxious Revival is a route to victory through a wasteland, which is lovely. So I have 2 draws and then discard, and then one of the 2 draws. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep the Narcomoeba. We'll see. All right. Oh. Alrighty then. There's a dredger. So Serum Powder, Narcomoeba, Shambling Shell. I have a hollow one. That's a great start. I have Force blue card, Force green card to combat whatever ails me. And the Noxious Revival serves as Wasteland redundancy, or Bazaar redundancy in the face of Wasteland, to be more specific. Workshop, okay. Pithing Needle, that's fine. I can Force of Vigor that. I would rather Force of Vigor than Force of Will that one. Keep my options open. Disruptor Flute. Okay, so this can name Force of Vigor, so I have to Force of Will this. That's annoying that they had 2 pieces of hate. Yeah. Okay. So end step, I'm going to Force of Vigor this. So we still have everything that we want, but they have 5 cards in hand. So we're going to see how things go. Upkeep, Bazaar of Baghdad. We can dredge a Shambling Shell, and that's it. All right. Not amazing. And then draw step, dredge that same Shambling Shell. Oh, and that's it. We don't have another dredger yet. I mean, we have a 4/4. That's not nothing. Okay. Now, obviously, I gave my opponent the benefit of the doubt here in understanding that Disruptor Flute needs to name Force of Vigor rather than a redundant Bazaar of Baghdad name, but I feel like that's fairly reasonable to assume. Ooh, all right then. Narcomoeba. We got a Narcomoeba, and it's going to bring back a Prized Amalgam. We are starting things off well. This is a 2/5. So unfortunately, this is not going to, I mean, obviously it can trade with the, or it can kill the hollow one. It can just eat the hollow one, and it has a 5 butt. So it's not going to be useful to attack into. I have a Dredger and an Ichorid that are going to start things off next turn, hopefully. 5 mana. Do they have another Bronze Guardian? No, they have a Golos. Okay. Well, ding, 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 ding. Our opponent is going to Bajuka Bog us. Likely. I would assume that they Bajuka Bog us. They could Tabernacle us instead. And that's winnable with Ichorids. Tabernacle is obviously less fun. I have 2 Creeping Chills in the graveyard that I have not activated. Yeah, there's the Tabernacle. Okay. Tabernacle seems like the best choice here. Let's see. Let's dredge. Shambling Shell. Thug. There's a 1 Ichorid. That's it. Okay. That Ichorid is not useful right now. And then no on all of these. Because I can't pay for anything. Golos is very powerful. I have a Golgari Grave Troll here. Keep dredging. I hit a Prized Amalgam. None of that is useful. I have 1 Ichorid in the graveyard right now. Not where I want it to be. And our opponent can just pay for these creatures, and I think that we're deceased. I think we're going to end with a 2-3 record. Thanks to the Tabernacle at the Pendril Vale. Now I could take natural draws. Oh, wow. That's really good. Well, that's going to make things a lot harder. I think that I need to take a natural draw. And I might have done I might have made a mistake and dredging this. I kept thinking about Ichorids being our route to victory. But it might not be. I might just need to find the 1 of Wasteland, because I've already milled over the strip mine. No, that's not worth it. Yeah, I think I'm going to take a natural draw and hope it's the strip or the Wasteland. It's not. And I think that is the ball game. This Buried Ruin obviously can use the 2 available mana to buy back a Disruptor Flute, and that Disruptor Flute can name Wasteland if our opponent is heads up about it. If not, it'll name Bazaar of Baghdad, and what can I do about that? Ooh, they're just bashing face instead. Okay. So I have a little bit more time than I thought. Well, okay. That's not great. Crucible Tabernacle means that my options are incredibly limited. Can I do anything here? These all have Ward 2. Nope, I am just deceased. Okay. That was it. That was tough. Definitely tough. Those were very hateful games from our last opponent. We ended up with a 2-3 record, and a lot of that I feel like is just me being new to the format. Honestly, this is a deck that rewards format knowledge more than pretty much any other deck in the vintage format. I need to know what kind of hate people are playing based on what kind of deck they have and their personal flavors, right? One Doomsday Pilot might have Ravenous Traps where another one might not. Things like that. And I just need to be a little bit more aware of that. And yeah, Joe, Bazaar is hugely popular right now. I don't think that it's a very good deck. Not right now, anyway. I think that popularity and success rate are in opposite directions for most Bazaar decks right now. However, it is a very useful deck to have in your back pocket because it's easy to pick up for someone that's going to Eternal Weekend. So I would expect more Bazaar decks at Eternal Weekend. I would expect more people to bring hate for Bazaar decks at Eternal Weekend because of that. And I don't know. We'll have to see where things go. O'Doyle, it's always good, but if people have hate for it, it's harder to win. Of course. Dredge, like most graveyard decks, is best when everybody thinks that Dredge is bad. And people think that Dredge is good right now. It's not, but people think that Dredge is good, or at least popular enough to be a well-represented deck, that sideboards are pretty hateful. And we're just getting a little bit of that. So I hope that you have enjoyed this. I certainly have enjoyed my first stream foray into the vintage format. And honestly, I can't wait to get back. I don't know if I will be doing just Eternal Weekend prep in the upcoming streams or not. I'm going to miss next week, but I should be good from then on. Work travel will slow down by the end of this year. I have 3 more trips left, and Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I will have a few missed streams by the end of the year, but things are looking good for Eternal Weekend prep. And I think that I might be doing something like Squeevine next to try and see what that looks like. It is certainly the most fun Bazaar deck in the vintage format, in my opinion anyway. I have had a blast playing it, and I don't know if that's what I would be playing or if Dredge is what I'll be playing, because I'm not necessarily playing to win Eternal Weekend. Obviously, I'm not a vintage expert. I would love to place well, and I would love to perform appropriately. But it's a lot of fun to be playing Squeevine. I don't know. We'll have to see. But in due time, not right now. Until then, though, I will have to see all of you at the next time. Everybody have a good night and keep playing Magic. It's always fun. See you later.